Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Electro Horde. Last time I made a video. If you haven't watched my last video, please do. I'll leave a link up here somewhere. And last time I made a video about how to boot an XC machine using a USB flash drive. Well, I got some questions about how to create the image so you could actually install any OS here. You could get DOS, a bootable DOS flash drive without the need of a vintage computer, one that can actually access a USB flash drive from DOS. So that's what this video is gonna be about. This is gonna be a very straightforward video just to teach you how to get MS-DOS or any operating system on a bootable USB flash drive. I did search online for all this information that I put together here, and there are lots of tutorials online, but most of them don't really work. And the method that I'm gonna give to you right now will certainly work, okay? So let's start. Okay guys, so the first thing you need to do is to download QEMU, which is an emulator. And you can find the link down below in the video description. You just have to download it for Windows and install it. And this is QEmulator. After you install, you get this screen. And the first thing that we need to do to create a bootable image is to create a new virtual disk. So we go to, sorry, I was too quick here. We go to File, Create, New Virtual Disk. So here we have to set the disk size. We're gonna set it to 500 megabytes, just like we did last time. And the drive type, we're gonna select RAW. So okay, we just hit okay. And then we have to give a name for the virtual disk file. I'll just call it MS-DOS 5. Okay, so we hit save and the virtual disk was created successfully. Okay, so now we need to create a new virtual machine. So we just click this red plus icon there, and then we can give a name. We're just gonna call it MS-DOS 5.2. And for the machine type, we're just gonna leave at standard x86 machine. The operating system, we're gonna set to DOS, and we're gonna hit next. And now we can specify how much RAM we want. I'll just leave it at 32 megabytes, that's fine. And here we've gotta select use an existing virtual disk image. That's where we will select the virtual disk image that we just created, this one, MS-DOS 5. We're gonna hit open, we're gonna hit next, we're gonna hit finish, and here we have our virtual machine. This is the virtual machine that we just created called MS-DOS 5. So now here we have some settings for the virtual machine. We're gonna need to change a few of this settings. Basically, what we're gonna doing is creating a virtual machine with 32 megabytes of RAM, and we're gonna need to edit the contents of the drives so we can insert a floppy disk, which is actually an image that we're gonna use so it is able to actually read drive A from inside the virtual environment, right? So we have the hard disk 0, which is that virtual hard disk that we created, is already fine. And we also have floppy drive 0. So we're gonna double click here and we're gonna select a floppy disk image. You can get these images from anywhere online. For instance, you can get from WinWorld. That's where I got this version that we're gonna use today, the MS-DOS 5 single disk version. So let's get back to FloppyMu. And I already have saved here where my image file is. This is the one. We're gonna hit OK. Then we'll go to boot order. We're gonna double click and we'll make sure that floppy drive is the first bootable device to make sure that it boots just fine. I'm gonna remove CD, DVD because I don't want to use any CDs or DVDs here. So that's it. We hit console. And then we can actually start the virtual machine. So I'll just reposition the camera a bit here to get a better view of the console so we can start creating our image. Okay, so I have repositioned the camera. I also cleaned a little bit the screen because it was too dusty. Okay, so now let's get back. Now we're gonna hit run here, and there we have it. The MS-DOS installation disk already booted. So we're gonna double click with the mouse on the screen. So we transfer the input for the keyboard and mouse input to the virtual machine. Then we're gonna hit enter, settings are correct, everything's correct. Okay, so setup has finished. Now I'm just gonna hit Ctrl Alt to get back to the real machine, and we're gonna hit stop right here. This will end my session. Yes, that's fine. So now I'm gonna head here to floppy drive 0. I'm gonna clear to remove the floppy image from the virtual floppy drive. We're gonna get back to console and we're gonna run, and now MS-DOS should boot normally. That's it. MS-DOS 5 already calls for this MS-DOS shell, so I'm just gonna hit Ctrl Alt. I'm just gonna double click here and hit Alt so I can access the menu and hit exit. So here I am. I already have MS-DOS installed. There it is. So now I can once again hit Ctrl Alt to get back, hit stop, yes. So now I have the image finished, right? So this is the image that we were using. It's the MS-DOS 5.raw, right? So what we're gonna do now is just get a USB flash drive. I bought a couple of them from AliExpress. Here they are. These are 4 GB flash drives. They're fine. I don't need much space because this image only has 500 megabytes. So an MS-DOS 6.22 cannot recognize partitions larger than 2 gigabytes. So this will be fine. So I'm just gonna open this up, plug it into the computer, and now we're gonna burn that image, that floppy image, to this flash drive. Okay, so I have the flash drive plugged into the computer. Here it is. First thing we're gonna do is format it to FAT16, restore defaults. We do a quick format to make sure things are faster here. We're gonna let the computer format. Format's complete. Okay, let's close it. Now we're gonna use an app called Rufus. You can download Rufus on the internet. Just Google it. It's a very well-known application. And we're gonna wait for it to open up. Here it is. It already detected the USB flash drive, and we're gonna use an image. So here it is. We hit select, and now let's just paste here the path to that image. We're just gonna select here all files. Here it is, MS-DOS 5.raw. Okay, now we're gonna just hit start, and it's just warning me that all data will be erased from the flash drive. That's okay. Now we just leave it to write the image. You can see that it already started, but it's still at 0%. Now it's 6%. I'll just stop here and get back when the image is done. Okay, so there it is. The Rufus is done finishing writing the image, so I'll just close it and I'll hit eject just to eject the USB flash drive. It says it's still being used. Let's try again. Okay, now it ejected just fine. So here it is. Now we need to test it, right? Who knows if it's gonna work or not? I'm sure it will. So let's just get this into an XT computer and see it booting. Okay, so here we are. We have an XT machine here. This is not the same XT machine that I used on my last video. You probably noticed that, and I'll talk about this XT machine on a future video. But for now, we have the USB flash drive. We're just gonna get it there on the XT, and now we're gonna leave it to boot and see if it works. I'm gonna remove this floppy from the drive because we don't want it to try to boot from the floppy drive. And now we should just wait. The machine is still booting. Let's wait for a few more. There it goes, started to boot. Let's see if it's gonna work. It's testing the RAM memory, and now it's time for it to boot from the USB flash drive, and there it is. We have DOS, MS-DOS 5 running, and it booted just fine. It's running fine. So there you go. That's all you need to do to get an image onto any kind of floppy, onto any kind of USB flash disk. MS-DOS just open MS-DOS shell, which is something that MS-DOS 5 installations do automatically. They just add it to the AutoExec batch file. And there you have it. If you like the video, please subscribe, leave it a thumbs up. Please leave any comments down below if you have any questions. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. I'd be glad to try to get that video up for you. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye bye.